Virgo and Jupiter. So Virgo and Jupiter, this person thinks very detailed about the experience they want to have, and then they want to have the experience go a certain way. We have to do this, and this. We have to do it at this time, be at this place, be punctual, be dressed this way, you know, carry ourselves a certain way. Um, if it's not like that, then this ain't an experience. This is, it's not perfect. It's like everything's falling apart, you know. And now I'm like, not having, the experience I want to have. I'm having, an experience that is to you, more, it's too much, that's not my type of fun, but also, for this person, they are a realer. Like, see, these people like to do like real things in their experience. They could, tone down the whole, you know, they're not necessarily passionate or need people to be around them too much. Like, they don't need everybody's attention necessarily. It depends on, the sun and moon sign. See, a person who has fire or water in the sun or moon sign would need somebody around more. If they're more wind and earthly natured, then they really come off as, that guy's experience or like what he's trying to do to have fun is like not so fun. I wouldn't consider that fun. You're not, going to parties. You're not trying to go mingle with other people. You're not trying to, deeply understand some, people who have done some things. But that's the thing, you're an analytical person, so you think deeply about some things. In reality, you don't really like. You see what's there. Is what I'm saying. You don't do too much, but you do like people who are deeper and they're like, in my life, I've done this, I've done that, you know, basically people who have wisdom. See, like I said, wisdom and experiences are kind of different. Wisdom is learning from your experience and then, imparting that onto somebody else, or even, you know, letting somebody know that, and, that person likes to listen to that because, and you're one of these people that could be a good listener, for somebody who's like more, creative, deeply creative, more subtle with things. They can pick up on subtleties. They're like, okay, well, this situation is pretty dry, but I know how to make it, more fun because I do go out and I do things, but I like to be a little more, to myself, or we can do what you want to do. You can lead the way. Um, but I can bring some more, this or that, more excitement to the experience because maybe you have thought a bit too much. You've been thinking too much. And when you're in this tropical, you don't want to think too much. You want to just do some things and not really worry about the outcome. And that's how you have a true experience. And then for you, like, you would need somebody who's like more deep, not somebody like me. See, I like to be a bit out there and be like, oh, we gotta do it my way. Um, my way is the way. Um, somebody else could be like, uh, they're a little bit more, go with the flow, and it's like, okay, you want to do this or that. Maybe we could ease off of the thinking part so much and let me, like, what I'm saying is you could like listen and consider other people real quick. And then, you can still do what you want to do, but, you got to have somebody there who's willing to listen to you, is what I'm basically saying. These water signs, people of water, they like people who have earthly qualities, and this is earthly quality in the experience category. So you want to go do something, all right? That's practical, right? But the way you want to do it, you're thinking about it before you do it. And then other people, might not want to do that because it's so detailed and then you yourself won't have the fun unless it's done that specific way. Somebody of water is willing to listen to you and follow that. Because, see, these people actually look for um, people who can be there for them. they like people of earthly nature because they know that they're going to be there. They're going to like heed calls to what they have to say. Typically, sometimes not though. And these people have Virgo and Jupiter. Try to find somebody who's deep to have like fun experiences with. That's probably where you'll have the best experiences. That's my advice. You don't have to do that though, as this is your life and you have to do what you want to do. But that's what I would recommend. Um, and then you also, um, if you are more fiery there, it's probably gonna like not seem as dry of an experience, even if you're like, because you ain't gonna be too detailed, because you understand people already if you're fire or water, and how they like to have fun and other things. So you're like, okay, well, I can, if things don't go according to plan exactly, it's still an experience and I still have fun. Somebody else like that's in wind or earth might be a little bit more upset about the situation. Like, oh my gosh, it's like I can never have fun. It's like almost like I'm never, having a fun experience, you know. But if you just, sit back and do what you do, some people, take note and be like, that guy, he's really thinking about some things. He could stand to like have some, somebody to care about what he's doing. He's actually like being, considerate of like what other people like might need, you know, because you're a person that's like that. You like to go above and beyond in your work and other things. Half-ass work is not what you do. We don't like to. You don't like to sit back and relax necessarily too much. You like to like be the one that's like, we have to like be the best at what we do. We can't, not be detailed. We cannot not, he calls to doing things right because it's, you're chasing perfection. But sometimes when you do that, you can just, let yourself down a little bit. But find somebody deep. That's my advice to you. Just and you don't have to, because it's your life experience, like I said. But that's just my recommendation for somebody who has Virgo and Jupiter. But try to stay cool on the corner.